Yo, what's good, my peoples? It's your boy Big Chris, aka the Compton Animator, and I'm here to give you another WWE Raw review. So tonight we're reviewing WWE Raw for February 17th, 2014. I'm kind of sick right now, so I'm gonna keep it more on the pictures instead of on me, because I just don't want to show that sickness. so the first thing that we get tonight is we get John Cena, who comes out and basically try to hypes up the main event for Elimination Chamber and hyping up the pay-per-view in general. He's talking about how, like, he's already been on the road to WrestleMania. He's already been in several Elimination Chambers before, and that, how he just keep going through this and stuff like that. He says that he's beaten is that guys like Daniel Bryan himself have beaten Orton and stuff like that, and he kind of leaves out Cesaro, who also beat Orton. But then you get Cesaro, who comes out, and Zeb Coulter and Cesaro start talking about how they beat Orton as well, and you know they beat Orton as well, and they also start talking about how they're going to be the next tag team champions. I mean, next tag team champions. The next He's going to be the next WWE champion, and how he has more of the momentum than Orton does. So you get into the ring, both Cena and Cesaro start, kind of talking back to each other, talking about, who's better type thing. Sheamus comes out. Sheamus starts talking about how he doesn't want to be the face of the WWE, but all he wants to do is kick people's teeth in. So I thought that was pretty cool with Sheamus saying that. Then you get Christian coming out, who's talking about how what happened with Sheamus and him from SmackDown was kind of, he understand how it was he understand that what happened was an accident, but the kill switch that he's going to put on there on Sheamus and the rest of the guys is not going to be an accident. So just bigging himself up for everything. Then you get Randy Orton, who comes out and just doing the same thing, talking about how he thanks the Authority for everything they've done, and how he's going to be the one to win at the Chamber. And then you get the guy who gets basically all the all the chants and all everything else from the crowd, Daniel Bryan. He comes out and he basically says, he's going to be the guy that wins, and he got the crowd behind him, and everybody starts chanting yes for this. So yeah, I thought the opening segment, as far as that goes, was pretty good. It got all the guys in the ring, got them all talking about the Chamber match, and got them all, saying their hopes for WrestleMania. And you could most definitely tell Daniel Bryan was fully over right here, so that was pretty good, and just, showing that he is the most hyped guy going into the Mania, and still being the smallest guy, he has the biggest, the stature as far as how much the crowd loves him and stuff like that. So, I love that they had him come out the end, and what I think they did with him right here was pretty cool. So next you had Kane come out, and he basically starts telling everybody, the Authority's leaving him in control for the night, trying to let him show that he can do his job. He sets up matches for everybody, Cena versus Cesaro, Christian versus Daniel Bryan. It already tells us that we have the main event match, which is Sheamus versus Randy Orton, already set up. So he starts talking about that. He tells us all that stuff. And I liked the part with Kane. I thought that was pretty good. And, you got a little bit of reaction from the crowd, who was chanting basically, you sold out to Kane the whole time. So that was really good. And it kind of set up more of the vibe of beef between Daniel Bryan and him. So I like that too. So you get, right after that, you get Christian, who just goes after and just attacks Kane out of Kane out of Daniel Bryan out of nowhere. And I thought this was a very good, just attack segment right there. He did a nice job of beating up on Daniel Bryan, and just doing everything he needed to do before the match even got started. They went to commercial break, then they came back, and Daniel Bryan was getting ready for the match and stuff like that, and Kane was still on the outside, as he told everybody else earlier he was going to be outside looking at the match, and it was going to start right after that segment. So yeah, like I said, I like the beatdown segment that came off with it. Kane standing out there just looking at it. You get Christian, who cuts a promo about how let's see what the promo he was talking about in the promo. Oh, so I think he was cutting it on the app, and he was I don't remember seeing it on the app, but from what I think I heard, he was just hyping himself up more and add a little bit more heelish stuff to his promo. So I didn't see it, but I heard them talk about it after they came back on the show. So I don't know whether or not it was good or not. So the match itself I thought was pretty well done. Christian was getting most of the offense in on Daniel Bryan. I thought that he did a very good job of just generally beating down on Daniel Bryan for most of the match. Daniel Bryan started coming back a little bit later on, and I thought the reversals between Christian and him went very well. Once Daniel Bryan did fully come back, I thought it went nicely, and like I said, it still kept Christian in the game, even though he was getting beat up on. Daniel Bryan was still just being him and being that really good wrestler that he is. But Christian, both of them had really good chemistry, and it led into this really nice flip, kind of like a sunset flip type of roll up pin, and I thought that was a very nice way to pin a guy. Hit the roll up, so that happened. Daniel Bryan ends up coming out with the win here, and like I said, I thought it was a pretty chill match to start off the show. Daniel Bryan spent most of the match getting getting beat down by Christian, but they did it in a more entertaining way, and the crowd was fully into it throughout the whole night. The crowd was very good here. They were in Denver, Colorado, so I thought the crowd was very good throughout the whole night. After that, you get Kane, who basically comes on mic and starts talking about how yeah, Daniel Bryan had that match, but he has another match now, and it's versus Kane. So, Kane just starts going in, and like you see the picture right here, Kane is fucking jack ripped, man. And I love the fact that he kept the suit on as far as the suit pants and and the shirt and stuff, like the tank top and stuff like that, are wife beater and stuff like that. So I like that, this just the full look that he had right there, and it really worked for him, especially with the whole corporate thing. He spent most of the match beating down on Daniel Bryan, and did an okay job of it. He was a little bit slow here and there, but I can understand because Daniel Bryan just went through a full match. After like a little bit of beating down, Daniel Bryan starts to come back and starts to beat down a little bit more on Kane. Starts getting some good offense on him, and but inevitable was that Kane was going to come out and do something crazy. You had Kane, who starts doing this move and bending his shoulder, who was injured, kind of worn down through the Christian match. Start bending the shoulder between a pole and ends up getting a 5 count and getting disqualified, and just throwing around Daniel Bryan on the outside as well. So Kane ends up coming out with the win there, and he comes out with this DQ there, and Daniel Bryan comes out with the win on that. But Kane kind of shows that, he's just tired of Daniel Bryan's, just berating him for the evil shit that he's doing. And, I thought that was a good little match as far as a beatdown match for both of them. And I would have liked to see it go a little bit more into a different place, but I thought it was fine for what it was. So next you get a match with Fandango and Santino with Summer Rae and Emma on the outside. This was a very quick match. It was more along the lines of setting up the feud stuff between Fandango and Santino, and everything that had to go down with sorry if I'm sneezing shit like this, but everything had to go down with Emma and Summer Rae and stuff like that. I think it was more of just a general hyping for Emma, but also just getting Summer Rae and Fandango into it, but more between these two girls. During the match, you get Emma, who's kind of like flirting with Santino, and they're flirting back with each other. During that whole thing, they're trying to go in for a kiss, but before they can do that, Fandango hits him with a drop kick through the ropes, and Fandango ends up hitting him with a finisher and gets the win. Like I said, the match was very quick, but I think the comedy stuff that was in it kind of saved it from being totally boring, or from being anything else. And the crowd was into it for a good little bit, so it kept it pretty good for what it was. So next you get there was a backstage segment. Let's see where that was at. So there was a backstage segment, and it was before the Fandango match, but there was a backstage segment with the Shield, and it was basically Renee Young talking to both all the Shield members about how Dean Ambrose got beat up by by Mark Henry and how Roman Reigns is going to take him on now. And Dean starts saying, he beat down Mark Henry and stuff like that. And Roman Reigns goes like, no, you didn't. Well, he was like, well, I softened him up. And Roman Reigns was like, nah, not really. So, you just had kind of like a argument between them two, or just like a little casual argument between them two. And then it goes on to the Wyatts, and they just start putting down the Wyatts, saying, they're not scared of them, and, they don't care about all the fear things that they're doing. They're just basically going to beat down the Wyatts. So you get the match with the Roman Reigns versus Mark Henry. And this was a quick, but I thought it was a very good power man match. Both Mark Henry and Roman Reigns did a very good job here. Even for a quick match, I thought that their pace stayed quick enough and their moves were very powerful. So instead of them using like holds and stuff like that, they really did just do more of power moves here in order for the match to be kind of quick. And I thought they did a pretty nice job here with everything that they were doing. And the Superman punch and the spear, Mike Henry did a very good job. Mike Henry sold that very well. And Roman Reigns ends up coming out with the win here. I like the bickering still happened after the match where Seth Rollins was cheering on Roman Reigns, and you had Dean Ambrose kind of looking like, so I don't care, like kind of jealous that Roman Reigns won, but you're having a lot of heel stuff in there with it. So after that, you get Dean Ambrose to just start beating down and stomping down on Mark Henry, and Roman Reigns just looks at him like, dude, come on, man, I beat him. That's all we need to do. So they're pushing more of the face stuff with Roman Reigns and like even more of the heel things with Dean Ambrose. So I like that. It will be interesting if they kept them together for a while longer with both of these guys kind of one acting more of a natural face and the other one acting more of a natural heel. So that will be interesting if they keep those two guys together. And also before this match, you had a really good promo with Mark Henry, who he was talking to Renee Young, and she asked him, how he's think he's going to go in the fight tonight, and how he's going to fare in the fight, and he basically gives a good, he's somebody who'll get elected into the Hall of Fame, and he's going to, basically win. So I thought that was a pretty good one. But after he got beat down at the end, you get a nice little segment with the Wyatt family who comes out and starts just Bray Wyatt singing, and he just goes on about how the Shield is going to basically get beaten up here. And watch the show if you want to hear more about it. But yeah, it was a very nice promo, and you get Roman Reigns who comes back at the end of it and starts telling the Wyatts, stop all the bullshit, come out and face us. And Bray Wyatt goes, you know what? That's a good idea. And Bray Wyatt comes out to face them. And I like here because, they're playing on more of the whole just not giving us the full fight, but not giving us the fight at all, but, hyping it up and showing it a little bit, and just they're stepping closer and closer to each other and stuff like that. And I really like that. And then you get the Wyatts who back down again. I like that they did that, just them stepping closer and closer to a fight. And I thought that was really good, nicely done. So next you get Kofi Kingston versus Jack Swagger. This match right here was an okay match. The crowd wasn't into it at first. They were chanting for JBL and Cole and stuff at the beginning, but once both Kingston and Swagger got into it and started, hitting the moves off nicely, and were just very well done as far as the moves went. The crowd got into it and started cheering for Kingston and booing Swagger and stuff like that, and it started getting a very nice pop and heat for the match and stuff like that. Swagger basically was beating up on Kingston the whole match. Kingston got some offense here, but it really didn't do that much for him. Swagger ends up with the ankle lock and gets the win. So like I said, it's a pretty okay match here. So far, I thought everything on the show was pretty good. And, just leading on to the next stuff I just thought it was, had a nice pace and stuff like that. And you get Zep Culture, who's on the outside and basically cheering on Swagger and stuff like that. So next you get Big E Langston, who comes down to the ring even before Swagger and Zep Culture can leave, and basically holds the title up and just looks at them. So they just start the match right there. So you get 3MB against Big E Langston, which both members of Jinder Mahal and what's the dude's name? Jinder Mahal and Drew McIntyre, Drew McIntyre was like he was wearing the underwear version of the tights and had a jacket on like this. So it was interesting. He kind of changed up for this match. But as far as the match goes itself, you had Zeb Coulter who was talking on the mic during the whole time of the match, and Biggie Langston was basically powering over these guys. They came off with a little bit of offense, but Biggie was way too much for them. But as far as Zeb on the mic here talking through the whole match, like out loud on the mic talking through the whole match, I thought it did an okay job here. It was still a little bit distracting because you couldn't really hear the slabs and stuff that were going down in the ring. You could tell that they lowered the volume of one and up the other. Um, I wish they would have kind of like either had Zeb step further away from the ring so they could up the volume in the ring and stuff like that. But as far as everything else, I thought it was a pretty good match, and it did exactly what it needed to do. And Zeb Coulter, added a lot more of heat to the match, got people booing against him and cheering for Biggie Langston and stuff like that. So it did its job in the match. And you get Biggie Langston, who's coming out with the win here and beating both guys at one time. So Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal were in the ring at the same time, and he basically shows a really good powerhouse side and beats them both. So that was pretty good. So after the match, you get Zeb Coulter, who kind of just keeps talking about his guy and stuff like that and how he's going to win. Biggie Langston, I believe, gets on mic and starts saying, get all the crap and stuff like that. What does he say? He just basically talks about, how he better have enough big enough mouth to fit all the crap that he's been saying in because he's going to shove it all back in there or something like that. So I thought it was an okay promo for what it was. Next, you get John Cena, who's backstage with Renee Young, and he basically just talking about how Cesaro's a new guy, and he's going to need to beat him in this match because, like he said, if the new guys want to get over, they need to go in and do it and stuff like that. Just things like that. So next, you get Cesaro versus John Cena. A really good match. I really like this. Cesaro carried a lot of the match. A lot of the moves that he were doing was fresh to, Cena's moveset, so it made it look really good. And Cesaro, like I said, Cena was okay in this match, but Cesaro really carried this match. And he played most of the offense here and did a really good job of just keeping the pacing really nicely done and stuff like that. Cena didn't really do that many interesting moves here, but Cesaro, like I said, just kept the match going really great and stuff like that. You started getting some "this is awesome" chants and stuff like that, which I thought it was a really good match here. It looked for a while that Cesaro might pick up another win here, but you end up getting Cena, who kind of who goes over here and gets the AA and picks up the win. Zeb Coulter and stuff like that was all bad about it and stuff. Like I said, it was a really good match, and I think it did exactly what it needed to do. And it was a nice way to to set the middle of the show up and get a nice match in there. So let's see what's after that. And okay, so next you get Randy Orton, who's backstage with Triple H, and he's basically thanking Triple H and stuff like that, and starts thanking him for all the opportunities and saying, I'm still going to need your help later on and stuff like that. And hopefully, if I do exactly what you need me to do, then I can help you. And Triple H starts going back at him, saying how keep doing what we say you do, then we can do what we need to do for you and stuff like that. And then you get Randy Orton, who basically just starts talking shit about Batista and going in on him. Ends up Batista's right behind him and just gives that look at him. I think Randy Orton just leaves after that. So you get Del Rio, who comes out and he starts saying, he's tired and sick of Batista and he going to beat his ass for and break his arm for the things that he did to him. And he had a neck brace on. Del Rio had a neck brace on and stuff like that. So it was a pretty interesting backstage stuff. Del Rio ends up getting hit into the stage, into some stage equipment by Batista, and just Del Rio was looking like, I'm gonna fuck you up when I get a chance. So like I said, I like most of the interactions between those two guys, Batista and Del Rio. I thought this was an okay segment for what it was. I really like just Del Rio talking right here and stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty good. Um, so after that, we get a promo with Renee Young, who brings out Titus O'Neil, and Titus basically hypes himself up, asking Renee, "Can you spell champion?" And she spells it right, and he goes, "No, that's not how he spells it. He spells it with his own name." So I thought that Titus O'Neil just here, just yelling and stuff like that, and just pumping himself very up, and saying that Darren Young was his roadblock, and after he beats Darren Young, he's going to try to go for championship goals. That's what he's here for. That's what he wants to do. So next you get a match with the Los Matadors versus Los Matadors and Sin Cara versus the Wyatt family. Now, this was a pretty okay match right here. Only problem I had with it was that I don't think Sin Cara and the Los Matadors are they're not a big enough team to actually be going head to head like they did with the Wyatt family. They actually was having a lot of offense against them and stuff like that. And I don't think that they're that strong of characters to should be able to do that. I would kind of wish there would have been more of a squash match this time around for them, and they're just squash on those guys. But I thought the match itself was pretty good. And then you get the Wyatt family, who just follows the buzzer at the end and stuff like that. So next we get Billy Gunn and the New Age Outlaws, which you get Billy Gunn, who's wrestling, versus Jay Uso, and you get the Uso and Road Dogg on the commentary. This match right here was okay. When Billy was on offense, it wasn't that interesting. When Uso was on offense, he was very high paced with his offense and stuff like that. He did a pretty good job. The more interesting stuff was on mic. You had Billy Gunn, who kept just doing his good, promo work and stuff like that. He's a really good talker. And the Uso, he was kind of mumbling over his words here. You could tell that they need to get more mic time, or they should need to work more on their mic stuff. Their in-ring work, their crowd work and stuff like that is very good, but they just don't have any good thing to say when they get on the mic. And I think it kind of works when when you have guys like the New Age Outlaws, who are excellent on the mic, but not too good in the ring anymore, especially now because they're a lot more slower in the ring, versus guys who's really good in the ring and can carry a match, but they're not that great on mic. So I think it is going to even out nicely here. Like I said, the match itself was okay for what it was. You get Billy Gunn, who tries to go for the Famouser, but ends up getting I think he got hit with a very nice Samoan drop, and then ends up getting the Usos. One of the Uso members ends up getting a win, and Billy Gunn tries to go and help out and try to attack the other Uso, but ends up getting the super kick for his troubles, and the Uso member just does the little running out to the ring and jumps on the New Age Outlaws. So they set up to tell us that this is going to be a match for the Elimination Chamber, and I'll do my Elimination Chamber results on my SmackDown review, so you ain't got to worry about that. So oh, that's a little bit too head. That picture came in too early. So next we get Randy Orton versus Sheamus, the main event match, and this is the last of Randy Orton's gauntlet matches, and the match itself was very technical. The crowd wasn't into it for part of the match, but they started getting into it more and more. The match went on, and right after this happened, where Randy Orton basically gets Sheamus to the outside, kind of reverses him into slamming him through the announcer's table. Right after that happened, the crowd started to freak out for that, even chanting "Holy shit" for it. So that was pretty good, and it got him fully into the match and stuff like that. So it did exactly what it needed to do, and I like that they had this spot here, because I don't think the crowd would have been into it unless they had a nice big spot for it before the match. So Randy Orton starts coming over and beating up more on Sheamus towards the end, but Sheamus did take mostly full control of the whole match. But Randy Orton was getting beat down for a little bit, and it looked like Randy Orton was going to lose, and you get the Shield, who runs out there and starts beating down on Sheamus. I guess the Authority sent him down there, since Randy Orton's being cool with the Authority now. So the Authority sends the Shield down there. They start beating down on Sheamus. Then you get Cena who runs out. Randy Orton. I don't think he was in the ring. I think he was trying to leave. So you get Cesaro runs out, Daniel Bryan runs out, and then you get the Wyatt family who run out there, who have the lights come off. Then they run out there. I mean, no, they have lights come off. They're standing in the ring, big stare down for like a second, and then it's on. They start attacking each other. So that's the first bit of contact between the Wyatts and the Shield. And then you just get a big, giant brawl between everybody. So I really liked this and thought this was very nicely done. And just, a nice brawl that was just, all the guys attacking each other and just going at it and stuff. And I thought, like I said, I thought it was very nicely done. And they just end the show with all the guys still fighting in the ring and just, doing exactly what they needed to do. So yeah, I thought the show was a pretty good show. Mostly everything in it, was either, a little average to very much above average. There was no match that I didn't like. All the backstage segments were really good. The opening segment was pretty chill, and the main event was, a really nice match. It wasn't, like, oh, it's outstanding, but I think it did exactly what it needed to do. And, it's a nice way to end the whole gauntlet thing with Randy Orton. The highlights of the show was most definitely the Shield and Wyatt stuff. The Cena versus Cesaro match was, I think, the best match of the show. And the second best match most definitely had to be Daniel Bryan versus Christian. And then after that, with the whole thing with Kane and his interaction. And I think, like I said, everything else was very good. They did a very nice job of setting up for the pay-per-view. The only other down point I had is that we didn't have anything for the Divas here. And it makes me wonder if they're going to do anything at the Elimination Chamber with the Divas at all since Naomi's injured. So yeah, like I said, a pretty good show. If I had to score it, I would give it a B+. I thought it did a very nice job of setting up for the Chamber and stuff like that. And if the Chamber didn't cost so much, I would most definitely buy it. But I'll still be watching it in my own way. So like, subscribe, comment, and everything. I was a little slow on this review, so it's going to be this is probably one of the longer reviews I've done. And contact me with all links down below. And peace.